Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Pete, I don't know where to start. I think it was Nicole Wallace that said something about this is like 55 times worse than we thought it would be. Even those of us like you and me that knew this was going to be really bad. I mean,
Yeah, it's absolutely the truth because we already had a shot at this. We already had a bite of this apple to some extent. So you thought, well, is it going to be worse? Well, maybe a little worse. But I think what people didn't expect was that you'd have the richest man in the world be so involved. He came in late in the
yeah.
campaign and then, bought the campaign and then gave himself the job to get rid of any obstacle that was in his way of making money. So I don't think everybody thought J.D. Vance and Elon Musk and these tech billionaires were going to be so centered in this administration. That's
Yeah.
the thing we become.
Yeah. Well, him jumping around behind Trump like a psychotic jumping bean gave me some clue he might be involved in some way. But
That was that was the day I think I started calling him Adolf Hitler because those shirts are far too tight. You think if you're a billionaire, you would have like I'm not rich, but I'm in great shape as you can see. Steph,
yes,
this
I know.
is a
Wow.
temple, and if I were a billionaire, I'd have a personal trainer, I'd have a cook. This man is flabola. He's a
I
pasty
keep saying he's shaped like a shmoo. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't. I saw a beluga whale beached once, and it looked a lot like him in that swimsuit. I mean, I don't
yeah.
mean to. Yeah.
The difference between that whale was he was self-aware enough to not wear a tight shirt.
They're
Just
all
saying.
such like super villains, all right. I mean, just can you Cash Patel and who's that other guy, Emile Bove? They all look like cartoon villains, don't they? And I
Yeah, I
don't.
mean, I don't know if you're seeing this right now, but breaking, he's just appointed the Deputy Secretary of Commerce, Thanos.
Who?
Thanos from
Oh,
oh, come on,
yes.
Steph.
Oh yeah.
She's not that nerdy. She's not nearly that nerdy.
I
Wow.
got it. I got
Tell
it.
us
Thanos
more.
snap. I got it. I
Yeah.
know. I just didn't hear you. It was the internet connection. It wasn't the joke. Anyway,
appointed
well, I know you can't tell what's an Onion headline. I'm like, really? Dan Bongino is the deputy FBI
Dan
director?
Bongino, he needed a rageaholic at the FBI, a Rottweiler. Have you ever been his target? I'm sure you have been. He attacked me once, and it was like 48 hours of death threats I was getting from his followers. He is a mean fella.
I mean, the January 6th choir of terrorists is performing at the Kennedy Center. I can't tell what's real anymore. I'm
See,
like,
over the weekend, a bunch of those guys, Cario and others attacked our friends, these Capitol police officers, Harry Dunn, Michael Fanone,
yes, yes,
and the others, and it was a disgrace. I heard from
yeah,
Harry the other night. It's
yeah.
pretty shaky. I would have
We
gone
just
to jail if I was with him. I think.
Yeah, well, I know. We just had Harry on DC Sexy Liberal and on the radio show last week, and he is the dearest man in the world, as you know. And it just made my blood boil that this Enrico Terrio, who belongs in prison, first of
Yep.
all, already got arrested again for assaulting a woman, and now he's
Yep.
stalking Harry Dunn at a conference because he's emboldened and out of prison. I
And
mean,
suing, and they're suing the J6ers. He and others are suing the Justice Department for arresting them for an insurrection. So yeah, we're in an upside down world. Just now, I just found the ATF appointed to a deputy. They've now got. I was surprised to see this an actual AR-15, just a gun, is going to be a deputy secretary over at the ATF, which I don't know how much that's going to get done. But they're supposed to regulate guns, but an actual gun in a chair.
yes, yes, I understand. By the way, speaking of sitting in a chair, was JD Vance wearing his son's pants? I don't understand why they're all so weird. He was wearing the smallest pants. It's like Pee Wee Herman pants. I don't understand.
Well, I'm still more interested in his cosmetics, if you ask me.
The guy liner?
Man,
Yeah.
man's makeup. He's a beautiful man.
I just, anywhere, it's all doom scrolling now, isn't it? When you go through social media just to see what's happening. God tweets, have hope, humans. Donald hasn't changed. He's still a weak idiot surrounded by weak idiots. That's true. And I mean, I'm telling you, Pete, I've been saying all morning, it feels like a revolution's brewing from, not just what we're seeing in polling. 83% were against pardoning the January 6th terrorists. On and on. You can look at these town halls. These are Republicans. These are Trump voters screaming at Republican Congresspeople over what's
Yeah.
happening, right?
Timothy Snyder wrote about this morning, and we've heard some other voices. I think Heather Cox Richardson, too, quoting him, talking about something is changing. And yes, you're seeing all these town halls, and you're seeing people wake up. I mean, I think after the election, we all took a much needed mental break away from the news. A lot of people did, but now you can't turn away. because of what's happening right now in the federal government. And you see planes crashing, and who knows what's happening and what's correlated and what's connected. But people see what they see, and no one expected, I think, Elon Musk to be in there jumping around. And yesterday he also said that he's going to go to Fort Knox with Trump to see if the gold is still there, because that's the important thing.
He said that. He said that at CPAC again about the gold's missing.
Yeah, I think they need. It should be filled with eggs. I think somebody made a joke. I saw that meme going around because that's probably more valuable right now. But people need to take breaks and then get right back after.
I went out to breakfast with my friend yesterday and got an omelet, and I'm like, ooh, I feel like an oligarch. I'm eating eggs. I never eat eggs.
Do you get whites, or do you still eat the yolk? What kind of a food?
I ate the whole eggs, the whole
look at you. You
veggie omelet.
Well.
Yeah.
You are doing well.
Yeah, I mean, it's, but the Fort Knox thing, Pete, it's like, I don't, yeah, you're right. I don't know those nerd movies a lot, but I'm like, didn't that something Lex Luthor did?
Yes.
Isn't the theft happening right under our noses? I'm like, wait,
Die Hard.
We're going to let him into Fort Knox?
Second,
it wasn't Die Hard?
Yeah. Second Die Hard. Yeah.
Okay.
Was it the second Die Hard?
Second Die Hard.
Yeah. I mean, have you already talked about the German elections? I mean, I think that's a really
84% turnout to say no thank you to Nazis again, right?
Yeah, but the difference is they're far right. I was thinking about this morning. I was reading all about it. They're far right there. It's obviously extreme, the irony of all of it. But what they don't have access to is guns everywhere. And what they do have access to, if somebody does get a gun, is health care. So it's always so much worse in America because we're so much more violent with access to weapons. So our far-right crazies who are now in charge and threatening all of us, not only have access to weapons, but we often don't have access to affordable health care. So all I'm trying to say is I'd rather get hurt or shot in another country than America.
That's aspirational. Yeah, scrolling down, Chaz says, wow, Felon 47's really crushing it. It's only been 4 weeks. The stock market's in a free fall. Unemployment's up for the first time in 4 years. Inflation is rising. Prices are still rising. This is just the beginning of a really bad joke, right? I mean, it really is. Somebody said, Pete, it's like watching the second plane hit the tower every day. I mean, in terms of national trauma, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. I was in Manhattan on that day, so I'm going to push back slightly at the analogy. It's not quite like that, Stephanie, but it does feel like watching a disaster, or not even slow moving, a fast moving disaster. I mean, it's terrifying to watch, and it's worrisome to look away from.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've got to do whatever we can, continue to stay present and connected and fight. As Jane Fonda said last night, the importance of community. Your community is so big and so amazing. You've been doing this so long. And people need to stay connected to your community and to the communities that we've created. I think that she was really poignant when she said that.
Yeah, and that was the nicest way I've been called really old ever. Thank you, Pete Dominic. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
I've been doing this since the beginning of time. And by the way, I apologize. I was making someone else's bad analogy about 9/11. It was not my own analogy.
Oh, I know you. I know.
But it goes to. I mean, I think what it goes to is the Khrushchev quote. Everybody's, that we're going to take America without firing a shot. Like, it does feel like we are being attacked from within, because we are. It's like the terrorists are, they're in the house.
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that's Khrushchev. I mean, I haven't stopped thinking about the Russian invasion of 2016.
Yes,
they invaded our election. They were very much involved in our election without firing a shot. They had a handful of bots, accounts, that made us think that we were fighting our neighbors, but we were actually just fighting some young Russian dude with a Commodore 64.
Yeah,
in St.
where's the Genocide Dawn protesters now? Yeah. Apparently they've stopped eating our dogs and cats entirely. All of a sudden, I mean, it's you're at, by the way, doesn't this story feel old? And yet, this is in The Guardian, the perfect target. Russia cultivated Trump as an asset for 40 years, according to an ex-KGB spy. I mean, I feel like you and I already know this, as you said, but like, it is in 2016, they said they found the Trump campaign and transition team had at least 272 known contacts and at least 38 known meetings with Russian-linked operatives. And he said, the KGB agent said, the Mueller report was a big disappointment because people expected it will be a thorough investigation of all ties between Trump and Moscow, when in fact what we got was an investigation of just crime-related issues. There was no counterintelligence aspects of the relationship between Trump and Moscow. Trump was the perfect target in a lot of ways. His vanity, his narcissism made him a natural target to recruit. He was cultivated over a 40-year period right up through this election. His election, yeah. I mean, it's
I mean, of course, all of those things are probably true, and maybe we'll never know, maybe we will, but it's almost as if it doesn't matter simply because Donald Trump loves Vladimir Putin because Vladimir Putin has full control. He doesn't have there's nobody in his way, and if you get in his way, he pushes you out a window. I mean, that more than anything else is emblematic of why Trump loves Vladimir Putin because he wants to be him. He's always wanted to be like this guy, and now he kind of is, and it's all performative, and it's going fairly well. But I think we're going to see something. I really believe in the next few weeks. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be bad and terrible and scary and violent, or if it's just going to be some kind of general strike. Enough is enough. But I think people are starting to wake up and pay attention, especially those who, as you always talk about, didn't vote, as you've always tried to fight apathy. Those folks are going, wait a second, what? Not to mention the federal government employees that are all being laid off that are Trumpers as well. I mean, there's going to be a lot happening in the next couple of weeks, next couple of days.
This one, yet another Trumper's face eaten by a leopard. C-SPAN caller from West Virginia. I'm a diabetic and I'm on Medicare. When Joe Biden was in there, my insulin was $6 for a 28-day supply. I just went to CVS. It went back up to $80. Well, that's low from what I've heard. Some places, people's inhalers are suddenly $800. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it's where people are affected most that it's going to matter. I think that, I don't know what you think about this, but I think that without COVID, he probably would have gotten reelected the first time. And it should have blown him way out of the water because of the way that he handled that or didn't handle it at all. But I feel like, it's got to be a trifecta of you lose your job, your investment portfolio is cratering, and everything costs more. I don't care who you are, how apolitical you are. If you just sit in your basement watching TikTok all day, that's going to affect everybody. Everybody's going to wake up. And I'm just seeing this right now from comedian J.L. Covan saying Trump has just appointed himself Pope.
Yeah. Well, and Jody, I don't know if you remember which study it was that showed how many
dead yet, and he's already.
I see what you're doing there. Yeah. How many deaths he was responsible for? I mean, according to
at least 500,000.
Studies, according to Dr. Scarfy McScarferson, that worked for him, about the number of unnecessary deaths. I mean, that fact, Pete, you're right, that he's responsible for, what are they saying? Like at least 500,000 of the million deaths we had could have been avoided.
Dr. Peter Hotez, I've interviewed many times, who's an American hero, has been demonized by so many people. He's a vaccine maker who makes vaccines for poor kids in third world countries. He says it's about 200,000. And, more than anything else, even if you didn't die, it created doubt around the most important public health miracle ever made outside of clean water, vaccines. And now you got RFK in charge. That's how far we've gone. So
just because all the news is bad, I just thought I would follow that up by saying breaking. A new coronavirus with the ability to spread to humans similar to the COVID-19 pandemic has been discovered in China per researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, according to Newsweek. But we don't have a team there anymore because Trump... Oh, hey there, it's Stephanie Miller. If you're like me and you love sharp political insight, pointy, you like it pointy and sharp, bold opinions, and a touch of humor to make sense of these crazy times, have I got some fantastic news for you. The Political Voices Network is now on Substack. This is your new go-to for the best in independent media. We're talking about my show streaming daily with episodes on demand, the fearless of journalism of Brian Karem, the brilliant side-splitting satire of John Fugelsang, the unrelenting working class advocacy of Rick Smith, and so much more. Here's the best part. Subscribing is so easy. You can join for free or go to the extra mile. Support these incredible independent voices by signing up for a full subscription starting at just $8. You'll get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and a chance to directly fuel fearless, unfiltered media. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Hit that subscribe button and become part of the movement keeping truth alive in an era of corporate media overload. Every subscription helps, especially yours. One more time, that is politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Sign up now. Do it.